Hello everybody, my name is Matt Wood and I am a PE teacher in Tacoma, Washington. And today I'm going to give you a tutorial on how I make my Among Us PE edition videos using PowerPoint and iMovie. So this edition is called the Watership. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to make a countdown timer in PowerPoint. So you open it up, you click Layout in PowerPoint, and you clear out the boxes. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put a green background on the slide because my countdown timers have moving backgrounds on them, so the green background works as a green screen. Next, I'm going to be using word art to pick the font for the numbers. We're going to pick red here because it really pops. And I'm going to add a little bit of texture to the numbers so they stick out a little bit more. Next, I put in the number that I'm going to be starting with. In this case, it's a 10-second countdown, so I start with 10. Next, I'm going to increase the font size to 400 so that the numbers are big enough to be seen in a small box, and I'm going to center it right here. The next step is to duplicate the slide so that I can put all the rest of the numbers in the countdown. And I'm just going to copy this one slide for all the numbers that I need. Next, I'm going to change the numbers to the numbers that I need. Notice that I have two 10s at the top. I just do that so that the countdown timer works a little bit better as I'm editing it into iMovie. I will add one more 0 at the bottom. Next, I click on Transitions. This will allow me to make the slides count down 1 every second. So first I click 1 second for the duration of each slide, and then I will click on Advance the slide once every second. Then I click Apply All. And I'm just going to run the slideshow to see if the countdown timer works here. And as you can see, it's counting down once every second. My next step is to save the slideshow. I always save it twice. I save it once as a PowerPoint. So I just make sure I label it so that I can find it in all my files. And next I'm going to save a separate file as my video file. So I just scroll down as my MP4. And I do this in case I make mistakes and I need to go back and change the PowerPoint. It makes it a lot easier to do that. And since I saved my video on the OneDrive from my laptop, then I am able to download those videos on my iPad, and I click open in another app and then save the files. I save it in my videos. Next I click on my files and I see it right there, so I click on it and then I just click save video and it saves it to my photos. Now I'm opening up iMovie. I'm going to open up a new project and I'm going to click on videos, and now I'm going to build my background for the countdown timer. So I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to use this water scene. So there's my water scene. Then I'm going to add my green screen video, and I click the little ellipses on the right and I click blue green screen there, and it layers it right on top of the moving water, and it just loads up, and there's the timer in iMovie with the moving backgrounds. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little music soundtrack that I have uploaded on my iPad. So I just go to my audio files and I add it to the bottom of the video. Forgot to silence the other water background, so I gotta turn that volume off. And here is my animated countdown timer with music. We're just going to trim off the end a little bit just to make sure it all fits together. Next, I'm just going to rename it so that when I send the file back over to my computer in OneDrive, I will be able to identify it. And here I'll just save it to my iPad, and then I will send it up to the OneDrive after that. Next, I will show you how I upload my animated intro. I do the green screen just like I do with the countdown timer, so I make the animated pictures in PowerPoint and then I upload them to OneDrive and save them to my iPad. And then I do the same thing with the rules, and I upload them from OneDrive, save them to my files, and once they're in my files, then I save them to my iPad pictures. I open up iMovie and I pick a new project, and now I'm putting down the animated background that I'm going to be using for my intro. And then I just import my green screen animations after I zoom in here. we go. Now I select the first video that I want to put on top of the background. So I just put the ellipses, set it as the green screen, and it uploads just like that. Then I do the same thing with the intro title. I put the green screen right up on top of the background that I want. And then I'm going to do the same thing with my rules. Add that as the next part. Nice and simple. And here's what the intro looks like. We'll add the music and the recording of my voice a little bit later. You can see the ship, how it moves through the background, and that's an easy way to do green screen stuff without a green screen. Next, I'm going to add the Among Us music that I made in GarageBand. So I'm just going to click on it here and add it down below. Next, I'm going to duplicate it because the song is a little bit shorter than the clip. So I just take it down to the end and layer it at the top so that it sounds continuous. And then I'm just going to trim off the excess video from the background. Next, I'm going to show you how I make each of my levels in PowerPoint. So first, I start a new project. I clear out the boxes in layout. Then I will be inserting pictures from my computer. Got to click my Among Us files here. The first room is the cafeteria. And I just want it to fit the page. And then I clear that out. Next, I'm going to insert my 10-second timer video that I have saved on my computer. And you'll see it takes up the whole page. This is what we made a little bit earlier. And then I just reduce the size of it to however big I want it. And then I put it right up in the top middle of the page. Then the next thing I'm going to do is insert my Among Us Crewmates, the one that I'm going to put in there. So I'm going to pick the dark green, and I'm just going to make it the size that I want on the page. We'll get the spacing set in a minute. Then I'm going to pick my next one. We'll pick the orange. I want to try to make sure that they're all about the same size. And then we'll insert the third crewmate, which is the black one here. And just center it in the middle and just fix the spacing for all three of them. Next, I'm going to put a hat on the green one here. And since it's the cafeteria, we're going to go with the fried egg. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this slide 2 times because each level has 3 slides. Now I'm moving on to the second slide where I'm going to get rid of the 10-second timer and I'm going to put in my 30-second timer that I made for these videos. Once again, it fills the whole slide up, so I'm going to reduce it. And I usually make these ones a little bit smaller so that I have a little bit more room for the exercise GIFs that I put in here. Next, I'm going to reduce the size of the crewmates so that they can be on top of the GIFs to help identify which exercise the students choose. My next step is to insert the exercise GIF. So I click it right there, I slide it over. They don't always fit very well, so I got to make them a little bit narrow and then drag them down to the bottom. It distorts them a little bit, but it's not too bad. I repeat this step for the other 2 crewmates. I pick different exercises. And what I like to do on these is for each level, I do exercises that are on the ground for one level, and then for the next level, I'll do exercises that are standing up. So then that way, the kids get a variety of exercises and hopefully guarantee that they will work all the different parts of their bodies. And we just need to try to make sure that the pictures are looking somewhat uniform. And then we'll also make sure that we slide the crewmates over so that they are lined up before I save it to a video. Next, we move on to the third slide, which is the finish of each level. Here, I'm going to insert either points or the imposter sign to let the kids know if they get points or they lose their points. So, changing this version up a little bit, and they can get 10 points or 20 points or lose their points. So it's a little bit new for them. So then I just copy that one and paste it over the second one. And now I'll add on my 20-point score above the black one. And by having the kids keep score and having different point values, it has that nice cross-curricular component to the game, which I know a lot of people can appreciate these days. Next, we're going to set up the slideshow with the timing. So I click Slideshow, Rehearse Timings, one click to start the countdown timer. When I'm done with this slide, I double click so that it switches to the next slide and automatically starts the next countdown timer. We'll speed this section up a little bit so that we can get through it a little quicker here. And then when I get to the final slide of the level, I will do one click and I wait about 10 seconds. You can see the countdown timer up there. I wait about 10 seconds before I click it to stop the timing. Then I'm going to want to make sure I save this. Remember, I always save it twice. I save it once as a PowerPoint in case I need to go back and make any changes. And then I save it a second time as a before video file. I just make sure I put a little V up there as I'm labeling it so I know the difference between the video and the PowerPoint. You're going to repeat these steps for all the levels of your workout video. And once you have all the levels done, then you're going to start adding them into iMovie after the intro here. So I'm going to scroll down and pick out my level number 1. Then I'm going to continue to do that with all 8 levels. Next, I'm going to duplicate my Among Us song, and it's actually so that I can just get one little section for the reveal of the imposter or who gets the points. Once I have that section that I want, I just drag it down to the reveal spot. And I just take the end of that audio and I drag it out to the end of that section of the video. Now if you look up the countdown timer, how it goes from 0 and it goes back to 30 again, that's just with PowerPoint, the video, it resets itself. So what I do is I just go back to where the number is 0. That's when I talked about having those 2 zeros and 2 tens. It allows me to be able to cut some of the clock out without losing my timer. So I just cut that little section out, and then as it changes scenes, it goes from 0 and straight into the next scene without the clock looking a little bit goofy. And then I just drag my music over to the start of the reveal scene so that it all lines up. And you just repeat those steps for all the different levels that you have in your video. And then once I make it to the end, I need to put in my victory scene. So I use a photo for that. I took a still shot from my intro. I put all the crewmates there with the ship, added some hats, put the victory sign up there in the corner. And since it's a photograph, I just take the picture and I make it last just a little bit longer so that the kids can bask in their victory of all the points that they get. So next I just disable the Ken Burns effect, so then that way I can get the entire picture for the finishing scene. Next I go back to the beginning so I can read the rules. I know that for younger kids it's a lot easier for me to read the rules for them. Rules. 1. You have 10 seconds to pick your crewmate. 2. A new timer will appear with an exercise for the crewmate you picked. 3. You will get points for each correct crewmate and exercise you choose. 4. If you pick the imposter, you will lose all your points. 5. Use your math skills to see how many points you can get. Good luck. And then finally, make sure you rename the title of your movie. And there you have it. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hope it helps you in your teaching journey using technology. And don't forget to subscribe if you like what I'm doing.